I'm Terry Schwartz from IGN. I am here with the star of Tomb Raider herself, Alicia Vikander. Alicia, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
For having me.
Now, we are here in Twitter HQ in San Francisco, and we put together a bunch of fan questions from you guys that Alicia is going to answer. And we had a lot. I mean, obviously, a lot of our fans have played the games, love the character of Lara. So I'm curious. The one question that comes up a lot is about the weapons, Lara's weapons. You have, the bow, we see it in the poster, you have the ice pick. Out of all of them, was there one that was your favorite? This is a question from the Geeky Bugle.
I think, what I admire just with her character is the fact that she's curious, but she's very innovative. And that's, when I saw the ice pick in the rebooted game for the first time, I just thought that is kind of a sign that she could just pick up anything and make it like a ferocious, deadly weapon. And that is, and it just looks quite good too. And it's definitely my favorite.
The cool thing about this movie is it's very much sort of like the origin of Lara Croft, right? Like she's not a experienced Tomb Raider at this point. She's doing that for the first time. So how did you sort of develop her as a character and her growth to become this very action heroine we know?
I loved when I was approached to do this film. Of course, the Angelina Jolie movies and the earlier games are out there, but I was so excited that this was going to be inspired by the rebooted games, and the fact that with any kind of these characters that you already love, to get the chance to see them kind of grow up and see them on their journey, and I really wanted to honor all of the famous traits that Lara has, that she's, incredibly clever, intelligent. She has a curiosity and a feistiness, and is quite, frankly, quite badass. But I also wanted to make her vulnerable, or dare to show the vulnerable side to her, and the fact that she's, she's human. And I love that it's now set when she's a young 20-year-old, something like me. I moved to London around the same age and lived in East Hackney with my friends, and which young people kind of do nowadays. And I then, when I saw the rebooted game, I mean, the father relationship, I think, was my emotional kind of starting point. I felt like that is, yes, it's a young woman who hasn't really tried to, haven't been able to find her footing in the world yet. But it's also the fact that she has this relationship to a dad that disappeared one day. She hasn't been able to mourn him due to that fact. And discovering this kind of secret chamber in the beginning of the film that he has, she also realizes more about herself. Maybe the love for, history and mythology and things that she's been kind of pushed away. So this is truly the story of her embracing her inner passions.
And then many more tombs to raid in the future. Now you've talked, obviously this is based heavily on the 2013 Tomb Raider game, but also you've talked about how you played the first and second games a bit when you were younger as well. So this is a question from Jake Walla 13, who's wondering, do you have a favorite Tomb Raider video game?
I would say the first one, probably because that has such an impact on me when I was 10 years old and I hadn't seen a female protagonist in a video game. Then I was about 9, 10, so I actually remember this quite clearly, how I wanted to try and play it, and I spent a lot of time in the manor, and then I went out there, I got to Peru, and then I remember the sequence with the wolves, and I actually got so terrified, and it was like a horror movie to me, so I had to just put it away. And it was not until later on in my teens when I got the anniversary game and then got the chance to play it. So I think I'll always have that as my favorite, I think. But then I really loved the fact when I saw the reboot games, the two that are out, that they kind of, I think they were very brave in how they chose to kind of embrace bringing a lot more story into the game. And I think that's why adventure games attracted to me already in the beginning. I played a lot of point-and-click games, Broken Sword and Monkey Island, and I think I was drawn to them due to that they had a lot of story.
Now, did you go to the 2013 game to do any research for the role? That was a question we got a lot. Or did you want to keep it separate and sort of stick to the script?
I kind of had that idea first, but then I couldn't hold myself. I actually, in my trailer, I had a PlayStation and the game. And to be honest, it kind of felt quite natural because I knew that it was already a lot of elements in the script that was taken straight out of the game, and I remember it was, I think we talked about it last time we met, it was for me to kind of see the impact of both the first kill that Lara does in the first game, both with an animal and a human, I think was just kind of significant to the differences between these reboot and the earlier ones, the kind of the impact
it's
of
like a human
it's a human side of it, and I remember I really enjoyed that sequence of it, and I was looking forward to do the version of it in our film.
So this is a question from mdudecy24. I love these like Twitter handle names. They're so specific. That's sort of like building off of that. They say in the game, Lara goes through a lot, not just physically, but emotionally. So how was it for you to be put in that situation? And is your version of Lara different than the Lara in like the 2013 game or anything else?
I think, I think in whatever film or character you take on, I've played quite a few characters that have either existed in fiction or in real life, and it's always, that's sometimes the biggest nerve about taking on these roles, because you want to honor the people who know this character already, and you want to make sure that it stays true to that character, but then you also, which I know that I would want, you want to bring something new and fresh, and I love the fact that it's a normal girl goes on this, or a regular girl from a reality closer to ours that goes on this journey, and the fact that I wanted her to be believable, that she could become this action hero in the end, and I really enjoyed doing all the physical preparation for it, and the fact that she was a very physical being.
Well, that's one thing, like when you do see the movie, you are at the center of so many of the action scenes, and it's so clear that you there have been great featurettes that are out about sort of your transformation and the stunts that you did do, but like it's really believable to see. I'm sure you had an amazing stunt team as well, but like doing so many of this,
incredible girls, women, that was really impressive, yeah.
But one question from Furu Yanagi Oshi was asking if, aside from any stunt that you did in the movie, what are some like the craziest things you've done in real life? Are you like going after all those crazy adrenaline rushes?
Well, I mean, I just came back. I love to ski a lot. I did some pretty bad falls just a few weeks ago. I'm just healed.
You're inspired by the Olympics.
Yeah, I watched that too. Then I jumped out of an airplane. Once. I don't know, I don't want to
I like that you're downplaying that you jumped out of an airplane.
No, I mean, like, parachute, thank God.
Yeah.
I had that on. And it was tandem, of course. But, no, I think I nothing crazy, I don't know. But I do love to try things at least once, maybe.
What about, this is a question from Adam Foley, who's wondering what the most extreme thing you had to do while training to be Lara Croft was.
I mean, we did a lot of different things. I did a lot of MMA training, some boxing. I did rock climbing. I lift weights. I hadn't really done that in my life before, and I learned a lot. Magnus, my trainer, I remember I told him, I was like, my goal is, I was like, if you can make me be able to do one pull-up, that's like beyond what I ever, my wildest, imagination of what to do. And I remember the first day we were like hanging like this. He was like, you're supposed to just lift your shoulders. And I was there, and he was like, so do it. I was like, I am doing it. And
I can relate to that.
I was like, this is me trying. But then it was amazing to see what it takes and how, that was really, really tough. Maybe the hardest thing was actually the diet. Because you need to, it's almost like a chore. You eat 5 times a day, every third hour, to be able to, bulk up. But in the end, I was able to do 6 pull-ups, and I just looked at him like a wizard. I was like, oh my god, I can't do it anymore. It goes away like that. But yeah, it's almost like already now, just half a year later, I'm kind of looking at the images. I was like, wow.
You're gonna see that movie again at the premiere and be like, look at that. Did you have a moment? Was that your moment on set, or was there another moment where you were like actually doing one of the stunts and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I built my body up to this point that I can.
I think that was maybe because I had talked about it. Yeah. And when we filmed it and I did 6 pull-ups, and that was beyond. Yeah, it was like a great morning. The day after I went back to 5 or whatever it was. But yeah, I peaked one day
with those 6 pull-ups. Well, I know, obviously some of those stunt scenes are done on sets, but you guys also filmed a lot of the movie on location in South Africa.
Most of it on location, which I loved because I think even I thought making one of those kind of big studio films that you're mostly going to have CGI and but I love the fact that the director and producer, they kind of went back and said, no, let's build these sets. And as an actor, because what we do is really just reacting, and I didn't have to do anything. I walked in there, my jaw was down on the floor. We were in South Africa, Cape Town, probably the most beautiful city I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then some of the best food, which made me really sad.
You're like, Magnus, can I make an exception?
At least I have my Sundays. I had my Sundays, which were my cheat day.
Yeah. I thought you meant actual ice cream sundaes, and I was like, that's an interesting
addition. Well, I can have those, but on Sundays.
Right, exactly. So this is a question that came in from Karate245 that I thought was really cool. Building off the idea that Lara Croft is such an iconic character, they want to know, do you feel like you managed to make a character or riff on Lara who inspires and acts as a role model for young girls, teenagers, and women? And who was your role model when you were growing up?
I hope so. Really. And mostly because I saw this character that I think had been developed in the new game, and I read the script, and I love the fact that by showing, we already know kind of her badass traits, and by showing the humanity and the vulnerability within her, I really think it makes us feel like we're with her, and we start to root for her. And to see someone kind of step by step, getting one step closer and becoming the kind of survivor and action hero that she ends up being in the end, I really think it's quite empowering to see that journey. And then I think I can relate to the fact that I think any young person knows that it's a lot of pressure sometimes to kind of know what you should want to do in life, right, or what your path is going to be, and she really struggles in the beginning to find her footing in the world, and but kind of dares to kind of listen to herself, and then she has the ability to kind of fall over all the time, and she's put through quite a few tough situations, but she always managed to kind of have a bit of a smile on her face and be able to laugh about it too, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Again, like some of the fight scenes are just like she is getting beat up and left up, right? But then she always comes back and always wants to keep fighting, and I think that's what inspires all of us about Lara. Now we only have a couple more minutes here, but this is not the end of our Q&A. Alicia is going to go through and answer some of your questions in the comments, so please make sure you tweet in response to this video, and we'll hopefully go through and pick out some of our favorites for her to respond to. But we do have, of course, everyone's already asking about the sequel. I'm sure that's your favorite part of press tour is when you're like,
it was actually the first one.
Yeah.
On this tour now.
Really? Okay, well, I'm glad that we can do it here. We had a couple questions come through, but one that was sort of a theme was, this is from Win Pope and from Tomb Raider Arch. What would be your dream setting for a Tomb Raider sequel if you could go anywhere for next?
So I've really wanted to go to Iceland and Greenland. Since I was a kid, and I still haven't been. So, that would be maybe a dream.
I feel like that's based in the game. There are some tombs, right? Yeah. It's just rated in some of the games that could fit with that.
Up in the glaciers.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time. Make sure to check out Tomb Raider when it comes out on March 16th. And again, leave those comments. We'll have plenty more Tomb Raider coverage coming your way from IGN, so stay tuned.